Thank you. I don't think I ever have heard that one. It's beautiful. Okay, it is time for the main attraction. Our speaker today, this is her last in-person talk before she leaves to go back to Phoenix and get all her stuff together to come back here. Yay! So she'll be speaking to us via video in October and making her presence known because we're all going to miss her very much. Please help me welcome Rev Bev.
I was really hoping not to have the waterworks today, but I guess it's just part of who I am. So, good morning, Centers for Spiritual Living East Hawaii. Oh, what a joy it is to stand up here and see all of you. It makes me not want to leave. Oh, no, I will not say that. Reverend Kathy will duct tape me to the podium. It is about leaving so that I can return. So, but anyway, let's put that aside and move into our service, our message today. And before we do get in all the way, I do want to acknowledge that yesterday, 9/11, 20 years after a major tragedy occurred in the beautiful United States of America. So please, with me, take one moment so I may read a little affirmative prayer for us. Infinite presence, this day I feel a sense of hope and connection awakening in me. I remember that when there is pain in the world, I go deeper into a sincere belief that goodness is the true and enduring nature of people the world over. I pray for those who are hurting from tragedy, that today they find comfort, peace, and compassion for all. Today I remember those who died, those who heroically saved lives, and those who still miss someone, affirming that all are forever in the heart of the divine, even now and always. Thank you, God, forever, amen, and so it is. It's amazing that it was 20 years ago, and wow, how far we have come. Somebody even noted that those that are protecting our freedom right now weren't even maybe born yet on that day. But we are reaching higher. That is the theme for this month, reaching higher. And part of reaching higher is just not reaching for something, but having reached and arrived. We reach higher, we arrive. And this coming week, we are celebrating Yom Kippur, also known as the Day of Atonement. It's the holiest day of the year for the Jews. It is celebrated this coming Wednesday, September 15 at sunset. And Yom Kippur completes the annual period known in Judaism as the High Holy Days. This is always an invitation for all of us, as we know the unity of all humankind, to come together for a moment in our own spiritual practice, to understand that unity with all. Sarah Debbie Guffrand shared this, and this takes us to the place where we've reached higher. Think of Yom Kippur as a lookout on the top of a mountain that you may have been climbing all year. See your days and their moments spread out before you. Be willing to look now at this big picture of your life, your ultimate goals, your beliefs. See each person in your life as a part of that picture. What lessons have they taught you, even if you had to learn it through pain? What message is God sending you by putting these people in your life? So we look out from that mountain that we have reached, and we see all that has come before. It works so beautifully in the message for today, which is transcend and include. All right. You know I got to start with a joke, right? We got to start with a joke. I'm going to read it slowly so that it comes out correctly. Did you hear about the meditation master who rejected anesthesia when he had a cavity filled? He wanted to transcendental medication. Oh my goodness, they're getting worse by the week. I think it's a good job I'm taking a break. Transcendental medication. Couldn't love it. All right, so to transcend is such a Zen-y concept. It is very esoterical, and it has these great feelings. It's very heady. So let's talk about NASCAR. Let's talk about NASCAR. Anybody watch NASCAR? Anybody? Yeah. Oh my goodness, I thought I'd be the only one standing up here. So something you may not know about me, I'm a huge NASCAR fan. Huge. I mean, we record all 3 races every weekend. That is some dedication to something that goes round and around and around and around and around. But you know what I know? Even like when I learned about baseball, before I knew anything about baseball or the game or why or how, I used to watch it with kind of like, huh? Huh? Okay. And as I got to know about the intricacies, the this, the that, the how, the throw, the who, the what, the when, the why, I became really engaged. And I love watching baseball, even by myself on a Saturday afternoon. But I love watching NASCAR. And as I got to know, I grew up on Formula One in South Africa. It was really big out there, and I moved to Monte Carlo. Of course, Formula One, the race was magnificent, yada, 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 all that wonderful stuff. I got to the States, and trying to find Formula One was very difficult. And of course, I had an opinion about it, as we do with most things in our lives. And I was like, oh, NASCAR, that's below me. It's so redneck. No. Not at all. Let me tell you, as I got to know about it, I got to see the intricacies. I got to see why the crew does this and why they do that. I got to get into the soap opera. Oh my goodness. These are the same people competing against each other day in, a week out, the same competitors. So you know, as they will say, racing car drivers never forget. So if you done them wrong, baby, you done them wrong. They're going to be doing you wrong down the road in some way or another. But besides that, there's the family. It's a very family-oriented. It's a family event. But more importantly, there is a unity. There is a team. There may be one driver, but there is a team. There's a coming together to make this successful. And the most important guy of all is the crew chief. Now you might ask, well, how does this all play into Transcend and Include? Well, here's the thing. As we work through NASCAR, every season there's new stuff coming up. New cars, new designs, new racetracks, new surfaces, new tires. Everything is new. And the crew chief is the one that brings it all together. Every week he has this book of all the information that he has gathered, all the information that he's gathered. And he moves through it and he uses what has come before to make his great decisions on that day. And for each racetrack it's different. So they bring a new car out, completely different. All the specs are different. Do you think he takes his books and tosses them out? No. Well, what use could they possibly be? They no longer serve. There's not the correct information. It's a different car. Everything is different. Why would he keep his old books? Because to transcend to the next level, we always incorporate what we already know and where we have already been. So they take it all with them. What is no longer really worthwhile always lies as part of the whole, because as we know in the divine, there is nothing left out, nothing bad, nothing that no longer serves us. We may not focus on it. It may not be in our present evolution, on our upward spiral, but it is always part of us. Because what has gone before is made us who we are now. And the good is what stimulates us to move forward. So we have this wonderful, from Richard Rohr, he says, every level of growth builds on the previous ones. The principle is this: transcendence means including the previous stages. Then you can see the limited but real value of the early stages. We're not limited by what we are going to. There is limitless possibility. But if we look back at what we felt was limiting us, what a great motivation to push even further, to rise even higher. So how do we do this in our daily lives? Well, if we look at the actual definition of transcend, which is to rise above and go beyond, we are always in the act of rising above. Every day, every single day. Joel Goldsmith gives us this: all that anyone possesses is the unfoldment of their own state of consciousness. And we can have as much more as we desire by enlarging the borders of our understanding and our realization. We rise above by a greater understanding of what there is. We do this by diving deeper into the divine. We dive deeper into our connection with the divine, because the divine, being all that there is that field of infinite potentiality that is calling to us. It is that which is motivating us. We can't help but evolve. We cannot help. Where we go, how we go, is all part of our connection with the divine, because it is calling us to something greater. It is calling us to be the greatest possible expression of who we are, who we were called here to be, what we get to do, how we get to do it. But we never leave anything from behind. We bring it all with us. Yeah, sometimes we can leave a little to-go bag on the corner, and we can get it if we want to come back down and get it. But we never forget the feeling tones and the memories that are building us to move forward, to go higher. Feeling and thinking and sensing this allness of the divine, we enter into conscious communion with it. And in some subtle ways that we do not understand, its essence flows out into our acts, spilling itself in and through everything we do, bringing to bear upon the problem of life an intelligence greater than the human and a power that is transcendent. This is from Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of our teaching. It brings to bear upon our problems, that stuff that we see limiting right now, a greater intelligence, a greater power that is transcendent. So as we lean deeper into the divine, as we give up this idea that we've got to do it all by ourselves, that there is a power greater than we are in this whole universe, and we get to use it. When we realize that we step into that, wow, that impetus up the spiral is just amazing. There is no limitation outside of our own ignorance. And since we can all conceive of a greater good than we have so far experienced, we all have the ability to transcend previous experiences and rise triumphantly above them. We all have that. And of course, it always comes into everything I say, we have the choice. We have the choice. We can stay stuck. We can just stop right here and go, I'm done. I'm happy. This is all I want. It's tricky because evolution will pull. Regardless of what you desire, there's always going to be something, because we are so far connected into the whole world that as everything else evolves around us, so that same energy is going to permeate us and bring us into an evolution as well. So when we jump on board, it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun to jump on board. And we do this in our own lives every single day through making choices of, no, I like this limited idea about where I can be, or wow, maybe I can look at that differently. Boom, boom. And suddenly we're walking up, we're rising up. And you know what? As we do it in our lives, we get to do it in our community as well. There's no way that this community could ever stay stuck. It's never been stuck before. It's not going to be stuck now. It'll never be stuck because we are all committed as a community, as a unity of people, as a wonderful center for spiritual living, that we reach deeper, we reach higher, and we evolve. I am so excited to see what is coming. I am so excited. I'm so excited to have experienced all that Reverend Kathy has brought us through, all that she's still going to be taking us through, mind you, and all that is yet to come. And I know that we're all on board with evolution. We can't help it. It's kind of fighting the river that we're in, is to say, no, I'm going to stand here, or maybe I'm going to move upstream just so that I can have more security in the old. You know what? It's not so much fun, unless, of course, you're a salmon. Then it's a whole lot of fun, and it's absolutely a necessity if you are. But for us to stay in the flow of all that is coming, all that is, and all the wonderment we get to enjoy is a place of beauty. But remember, we don't leave anything behind. We include everything that has gone before. We hold it dear. You know, there's no time. You know how people talk about the past, and they always seem to just remember the good. We do. Why do we do that? Why do we remember the good? Well, because what wasn't good is what we've transcended. It no longer plays in our lives. And it is the good that is the beautiful activator of where we can go. It is the good that is the foundation for the evolution. It is that foundation where we get to have a wonderful experience. Not just wonderful, but wonder-filled. We can lean into the wonderment of it because we remember the good and let that which no longer serves us just settle. It's coming with us, it's our memory, but it's not active in the new where we rest right now. It's really important not to throw out the baby with the bathwater. We don't want to do that because the baby grows and it becomes that wonderful experience that we all get to have. So we will always include everything in all aspects of our life, in all aspects of this wonderful center. We include it all. Everything is part of who we are right now. It's like that big quilt. Every experience, every argument, every wonderment, every disagreement, every, well, I don't think so, well, I think so. Every service, every fundraiser, every yard sale, every birthday is a square on the quilt that we are right here, right now, in this moment. And we get to sew more and more and more and more squares onto this quilt. What joy that is, and how excited. And I am terribly, terribly excited by all of it. And as we do it in our own personal lives, as we do it in the life of our center and our community, so those actions go out into the world. And there are ways that we can look at this transcending of the old and of that what no longer serves and bringing in the new. And I'd like to share this story with you about the things that we see as what the norm may have been like in the past that no longer works for us. You know, all those fractures in the world. It was my first day at school. I felt nervous and scared. I went to all my classes with no friends. I felt like no one cared. I listened anxiously to all the lessons and waited for lunch break at 1. Then finally the bell rang. It was time to talk and have fun. In the lunch line, I met a new friend who wore a hijab on her head, and though I am Jewish, I got along fine. And I was so relieved when she said, "Sit with us at our table." She pointed to the one next to the door, so I agreed and took my tray and was about to walk with her across the floor when suddenly I felt a nudge. "Hey, I saw you on the bus," said a tall girl with a long skirt. "I see your Jewish star necklace. You should sit with us." At that moment, I looked around, and that's when I noticed, to my surprise, the nations of the world isolating themselves. That's what I saw through my own eyes. The Spanish only sat with Spanish, the Hindus only with Hindus, the Russians always with the Russians, and never the Arabs and the Jews. I saw the reason why wars get started. Everyone sticks to their own kind. The lunchroom was a map of the world. Why was everyone so blind? And so I turned down this girl and went with the first. There was no enmity. I built a bridge between two worlds when I sat with those different from me. I built a bridge between two worlds when I sat with those different from me. This is from Sharon Fletcher, shared this story. In our What We Believe statement, we say very clearly, we believe in the unity of all life. And in our global vision statement from CSL, we envision a world in which we grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. All people, all traditions, or religions. We respect and honor the interconnectedness of all life. We also envision a worldwide culture in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustices, or debts, is the norm. This is not a world where we sit at different tables. This is not a world where we separate ourselves by our traditions and our religious beliefs. This is not what we're called to do right now. We're called to transcend those old ways of thinking, those old separations, those things that no longer serve a global community. Transcend them for the greater good and the new and the wonderment that can be known. An atmosphere of goodness, truth, beauty, harmony, and reality. Such an atmosphere comes in such degree as one comes to believe, understand, and make use of the invisible presence. To be spiritually minded is to be whole-minded. To be whole-minded is to be holy. It means we realize the complete unity of God and its creation. It means that we understand the complete unity and close relationship of all life, and we are all individually responsive alike to everyone. That was in the Science of Mind magazine in August of 1962. Wow. It is present right here, right now. We are still being called to do it. Sometimes it takes us a little longer to walk up the spiral, but we are continually being called to reach higher, to do greater, to love harder. Our inclusion of more and different cultures, their points of view, and individualized expressions of humanity create expanded, stronger, and more inclusive atmospheres. Our ability to transcend enhances our ability to be more inclusive, to live our espoused values and the principle of oneness. We truly must transcend any illusions of separateness. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., in his vision of the beloved community, expressed it like this: "We are all tied together in the single garment of destiny, caught in an inescapable network of mutuality." Oneness, unity. We come together no matter what we look like, what we believe. It doesn't matter. We are one in the very essence of who we are. And it is in that compassion for everybody's tradition, it is in that desire to know it, to lean into it, to get that experience. I mean, why would we want to ever not include everybody's traditions? The colorfulness of this world comes through life, living it in our own unique manner, to honor and to love and to bring us all together. And so there are ways that we get to do this. There are ways that when we're feeling maybe a little separate, a little bit like, oh, I don't like what that person thinks. And we've got a bit of that going on, you know, we really do. I mean, it would be lovely in our own ways, as if that wonderful unity that we did experience on 9/12, 20 years ago, that feeling of unity we could feel right now in our country. You know, we're still living it out, we're walking it out, and if we do our own personal work, we have a greater opportunity of seeing that unity. So one of the ways we do this is in our beautiful spiritual practice. We can do the spiritual practice of compassion. It is the practice and the principle of oneness, wholeness, and unity. It respects and honors the true nature of others, all life, and us. And us. We have to be compassionate with ourselves. Compassion is claiming the same good for others that we accept for ourselves. Well, we know that. In every spiritual mind treatment we ever do in our affirmative prayer, we know we pray first for ourselves, because we can only claim for others what we can claim for ourselves. If we don't believe we can have something, how can we believe somebody else can? And how can we believe somebody else can if we don't believe that we can? What we claim for others, we claim for ourselves. And what we claim for ourselves, we claim for others. Freedom, love, compassion, joy, understanding, and love, and just more love. And it's when we lean deeper into this compassion that we can see clearly and transcend that old paradigm of separateness, of separation. We then get to activate our upward motion of the spiral to reveal the new emerging paradigm of consciousness. This is actually a real thing, the new paradigm of consciousness. It's a paradigm of holism. Holism. The whole, the unity, the oneness of all life working together for a greater and greater good for all. So, we ask some questions as far as compassion goes, so that in this process of transcending and including, did I offer compassion today? Did I bring a smile to someone's face? Well, I think when I said NASCAR, I brought a smile to everybody's face. They're going, who is this crazy woman that we are looking at the podium? Did I say words of healing? Did I let go of my anger and resentment? Did I forgive? And most importantly, did I love? So in closing, we know this. Remember, it all starts with us. It starts with you and me. Be kind and gentle with yourselves. Allow yourselves to move upward at your own pace. There's no pressure on what you should be feeling or how you should be feeling, as long as there is movement. to be who you came here to be, that magnificent expression of the divine, and to be the very best expression of it. And above all else, remember that you are beautiful. S.C. Laurie leaves us with this. Take all the time you need, real sweet soul, because we don't get anywhere quicker by rushing the process of our healing, of our self-loving, of our freedom. We get nowhere meaningful in haste. So ignore the noisy beeping of the world around you, the shoving, the busying, the stressing. Take all the time you need to gather your thoughts, to have time to exhale and process your feelings. Because knowing yourself, feeling yourself, that is truly the most important thing. And just keep being you. Keep on the journey of being more and more you, because it's beautiful. Because you're just beautiful. Every inch of you awakening to you is just beautiful. And so it is. Let us take this to prayer. So in this moment, in this time, right here, right now, we lean into the presence of the divine that is working in, through, and around every one of us, expressing as each one of us the individuality, the magnificence, the beauty of each one of us. And that is all that there is right here, right now. And as we lean deeper into this knowing of who we are ourselves, as we allow ourselves to transcend this very moment, being called forward and upward to a greater expression of who we are, realizing and knowing that everything we've ever been, ever known, and ever experienced is all part of who we are now. And we build our foundation on the good. We build our foundation on that wonderment and the joy and the love, so that that next expression that we transcend to and from again and again and again is built in this time and in this place of pure love. Self-love, love for each other, love for our community, love for our world, and beyond. So I know that we walk this out in absolute wonderment, knowing that we are just beautiful. And so it is. Thank you.
I'm late getting back up here because I was transfixed by that message. It's wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Rev Bev. And now it's